Hi, my name is Sonia Stiefel, and I'm presenting here my Merlot webpage where I am showing the teacher research I did for my professional development at the Albuquerque Institute for Math and Science in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Let's take a look at this website. So this is the home page of the website, and here is a picture of some of my students drawing ancient artifacts that we borrowed from the Maxwell Museum of Anthropology. Um, as teachers at Ames, we do our professional development as a way of improving our teaching practice and doing research to discover how we can be better teachers. I asked a question that I tried to answer over the course of the year, and that question was, can I use primary sources to increase learning and to improve student engagement and motivation? I used a number of lessons over the course of the year to try and answer that question, and you can click on them up here. I have highlighted 5 of them on this web page. There were many more, and I'm just going to talk about 2 or 3 of them now. Let's look at this lesson that had to do with using a journal article with my 7th graders. During the unit on ecology, we had just finished doing a simulation lab where we did mark release recapture to determine population size. After that lab, I introduced this lesson where the students were going to read the abstract and part of this paper. I began the lesson by showing them a PowerPoint that I had developed based on this paper, and the PowerPoint provided vocabulary support. So I'm just kind of quickly moving through the PowerPoint. It describes how to estimate population size, what dengue fever is. Here's the vector, the mosquito Aedes aegypti. This was the technique used by the scientists to capture mosquitoes in an ovitrap. Here's a close-up of mosquito eggs that were captured in an ovitrap. And finally, the way the scientists marked the mosquitoes is they used fluorescent powders that they viewed under UV lamps to determine how many of the mosquitoes they captured were ones that they had released either blood-fed or sap-fed. So I went through this PowerPoint with my students. After that, we read the abstract together and discussed it, talked about what it meant, went over some of the figures in it. We also looked at the paper and identified parts of the paper, like where's the hypothesis, where's the question, how did they show their data, what were their conclusions. After that, I had the students complete this assignment, which was to determine how much of the paper they actually understood. The grades were quite good. I had a high number of 10 out of 10s, a lot of 9 out of 10s, a few 8s, a lot of 7s, and only 2 6s, and no grades below that. So the reading comprehension for the paper was quite good. After that, I gave them a questionnaire, and I asked them about their learning and their enjoyment. And I don't want to go through the whole thing because I'm trying to keep it short, but my favorite answer was to the question, should Miss Stiefel teach this lesson to the new 7th graders again next year? And everyone said yes, it was valuable. There's also some other good things that came out up here. And when I asked for constructive comments, I had several students interested in building ovitraps and catching mosquito eggs, which I thought was really neat too. All right, let's look at another lesson. This is a lesson that I taught to my 6th graders during our unit on the Sun, Earth, Moon systems, where we talked about the tilt of the Earth's axis, how long a year was, how long a day was, what caused the day, the rotation of the Earth. We went to a website called Date and Time and pulled data off that website for various cities around the Earth. They graphed the data that they got from the website on this graph, and here is a poster board of the best graphs I received. So they looked at the trends on the graph and were able to understand and explain the shapes of the graphs and what they meant. And I'm not going to go into that because of lack of time, but I gave them a quiz to see if they understood, and they scored an average of a 92%. So I was quite pleased with their performance and their learning on this activity. Let's look at using the night sky. This was another 6th grade lesson. The part of it that made it primary source learning is that they had to go outside and look at the night sky. They had to use the Big Dipper or Cassiopeia to locate the North Star. They built an inclinometer or a simple astrolabe with a straw, a piece of cardboard, and a protractor, and a string and a paper clip as a weight. I gave them this handout here that describes how to find the North Star and what they needed to do. And they went out over a long weekend to discover the altitude of the North Star. The altitude of the North Star equals the latitude in Albuquerque, and all of my students came back with results somewhere between 30 and 40 degrees north, which is close to the actual altitude for Albuquerque. They also returned with lots of great stories about seeing colored stars, finding Pleiades, seeing other constellations, and all kinds of other stories. It was a very exciting lesson and very successful as well. So overall, I felt like teaching with primary sources was a great addition to my already hands-on classroom, and I will definitely continue to use various types of primary sources in my teaching. Thanks for watching.